I've been talking a little bit about this. Why are we making the move now? Obviously, financially, CFF is the reason. And 21st century learning skills are necessary for our kids today. But I keep going back to our staff. This is the perfect time with our staff. At no time that I've been with the school district has our high school staff been this young. We have a very young staff, a very energetic staff. They are willing to take on almost any particular task that we set forth to them. They're go-getters. They come to me with ideas, and it's a great place to work right now. Are we the only people making this move? No. This particular piece was taken out of the NEA morning update, which many educators get, and it talked about how in Texas, educators or Texas schools are looking at, in terms of saving money, creating or purchasing their books online to keep things more up to date, have them available to students at all times, at all places, basically, by having internet access. It's something that we're seeing more and more of. Resources that are now online provide us not with just opening a textbook and looking at the written word, but also having things that can accompany that written word, like sample videos that go with it, or dry labs that science teachers can use if you're working with particular experiments that maybe you wouldn't want to do in front of an audience of kids because of the level of materials that you're working with, but you can show them through a video. This is taking me back to when I graduated from college. Collaboration was the buzzword in education, but collaboration in terms of when I was in school looks a little different today than what it did then. Collaboration when I was in college, it talked about, you had your group here in the class, and maybe I'll put a group of you in a small group, and a group over here in a small group, and a group over here in a small group. That was your small group collaboration. We would do some different projects. Today it looks a little different. A classroom that is a 21st century classroom looks a little more like this, where you have video conferencing going on. And this happens quite frequently. Craig Kusunik, who is a science teacher here, last year was teaching in Alaska. And we would work with his classes in Alaska through a video conferencing system called Skype. Many of you probably use that to communicate with friends all over the world. To be able to communicate with those types of resources is phenomenal, and it only adds to the possibilities that our kids have in the schools. Now there's Rip Van Winkle's classroom, and I hope my clothes were better back then. A lot of people take a look at this, and some people call it old school. They say that, aren't we giving in? Or, we should make them put pencil to paper. We should make them do this and do that. Is it really not the same concept? Aren't we really getting the same final product from these kids when we take a look at reading, providing these opportunities using technology to get to the same final outcome is really what we're wanting to see, and allowing them the creative outlet to do this is amazing what's allowed us to do it. But the multitasking here is, I think, what I find so frustrating, and many of you probably do too, where you're talking to them and they're texting over their phone, and you probably got an earbud in listening to some music as well, and they're able, the technology, is it going to be, we walk in here and is it going to be going 24/7? No. This is something that happens over time, comfort level, people get more familiar with particular things, they use it, feel more comfortable having their students do it. Will we see a lot of technology in our classroom? Obviously. Do we see it now? We certainly do. But in terms of wikis, blogs, podcasts, Moodles, I remember the first time I said the two words wiki and Moodle together, someone looked at me like, how dare you say that? But these are interesting pieces of equipment that our kids are using. And I'll mention Karen Stuck one of our social studies teachers, has a tremendous knack of reaching almost each and every one of her students. And she does it in so many different ways. But for many of our students who struggle with reading, has allowed them as a project to create their own textbook by researching online, finding materials about particular periods of time that they're studying, and creating wikis for other people to look at and see. So predominantly we're having them set up for one group to set up the wiki for another group in that class to look at, and they teach one another. But those things are available for anyone when they're posted online. They're not just available for the class, they're available, hey grandma, if you have the internet at home, here's the website, check out what I did at school today. And that happens so frequently now. I mean, the fact, this is just mind-blowing to me that here we are in Oil City, Pennsylvania, and we're live on the internet. That's, yeah. And the fact that we can save this, and anyone that can't make it, talk about an on-demand world we live in today. If someone's working today or their schedule just doesn't permit it, and they're not able to watch this as a live feed, we're going to archive it and allow them to go to check it out at any time that's convenient for them. The fact that we can do it here, that's amazing.